She walked through fire she once called her own. At the time, she didn't see it as danger. She saw it as independence. She believed being alone meant being strong. No one could hurt her if no one got close. That was the life she chose. Or at least, that's what she told herself. But fire has a way of taking more than it gives. At first, the choices felt small, one decision here, another there. Nothing that seemed too serious in the moment. But over time, those choices added up. They came with a cost she didn't fully understand until she was already carrying the weight of them. Relationships faded. Peace slipped away. Nights grew longer, heavier, filled with thoughts she couldn't silence. She thought she was in control, but she was slowly losing pieces of herself she didn't even realize mattered. There were nights she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how life had become so restless. She had everything she thought she wanted: freedom, distance, independence, but still felt empty. Alone didn't feel strong anymore. It felt like silence that wouldn't break. And then, something shifted. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It was a quiet moment when she finally admitted she couldn't fix everything on her own. For the first time, she stopped running from the truth and simply paused. In that stillness, she felt something she couldn't explain, a reaching, a pulling, a presence that met her right where she was. Not with judgment, but with mercy. Not with anger, but with love. It felt like being pulled out of the fire she had been standing in for so long. Slowly, things began to change. The restless nights didn't disappear all at once, but peace started to replace them. Hope began to grow where regret used to live. She began to rebuild, not from perfection, but from surrender. Every step forward felt like a choice toward light instead of darkness. She realized she hadn't been forgotten. She had been found. God reached down into the places she thought were too far gone and pulled her through. The same hands she once ignored were now the ones holding her steady. Breath by breath, day by day, she began to heal. And for the first time, she understood what it meant to start over. Now her life looked completely different. Her home, once filled with silence and tension, was now filled with prayer. Laughter echoed through rooms that used to feel heavy. Love lived where brokenness once stayed. The atmosphere itself felt different, like peace had finally moved in and decided to stay. She would sometimes stand in the doorway of her home and take it all in, the calm, the warmth, the life she never thought she would have again. It didn't feel like luck. It felt like mercy. What was once broken inside her had begun to heal. She wasn't the same woman who walked into the fire believing she could handle everything alone. That version of her had been changed, not destroyed, but restored, sealed in grace, held together by something stronger than her past. She had become living proof that it is never too late. Never too late to turn around. Never too late to be restored. Never too late for a new beginning. From fire to light, she had been brought through, and now every breath she took felt like gratitude. Because her life no longer belonged to the fire. It belonged to the one who pulled her out.